looking forward to seeing what, again, our expert panel has to say. I know that one of our panelists has a unforeseen time constraint, and she won't be able to stay with us for the duration of the event. So I'm going to ask her to come up right now and to at least share her thoughts and reflections on her art of storytelling and poetry. She really does both, among a range of other things, yes. So please welcome to the podium, Dr. Amina Blackwood Meeks.
Thank you very much, Casey, and congratulations. This is the second time that you're doing this, and I wish you every success in making it a big annual event. And I know that the president of the Michael University College loves to have big, meaningful events at his home campus here, and so I give it to the universe that this is the home of this annual encounter. Esteemed panelists.
Thank you.
Esteemed panelists, ladies and gentlemen, what a very provocating, that's my mother's word, provocating topic we have been asked to talk about. Means and themes, and the impact of social media on art, and what again?
Audience.
An audience. I want to confine my remarks to the Jamaican experience. And I want to talk about the way in which everybody is on social media and what I think it represents, it means, it uncovers. Everybody on TikTok, everybody on all the other one them. Help me.
Facebook,
YouTube,
Instagram,
Snapchat.
And right. And one of my young friends tried to educate me. She said TikTok is where they can earn money because somebody can give you an elephant, a pineapple, or something, and each of them means something. Facebook is for people who fasten other people's business. And Instagram is for people who just love to look pretty. So they put on them pretty clothes and then come out and then pose. Maybe all of that is true. But I think it represents the fact that for far too long, the majority of this Black African Jamaican population has had no voice in the media. No voice. We are not represented, except we eating food that the other ethnicities don't eat. So we wanna eat mackerel. We wanna have all of these negative names of what we eat. Because perhaps other people eat salt mackerel. We have to eat flash out and all of these things. So we have not seen ourselves represented, and where we are represented, we have not seen ourselves beautifully represented. I mean physically, and I mean personally, and I mean in terms of values, we're not well represented. And suddenly, we find a space where we can talk and talk back to the empire and talk how we feel. But when we look at the grammar of the people them who talking, when we look at the poses of them, when we look at how them have to lick them tongue and say, my child, then we know that something serious is amiss with the representation of who we are on these social media. We can almost tick off the ones who never finished primary school. And so they have found an avenue to talk back to the empire. Oh, no, let me out. Well, I know me I go talk. And they've been saying things that, let me give it its rightful name. Middle class Jamaica is highly amused by. Oh, it's how them really talk. It's how them behave. The same middle class Jamaica, educated Jamaican, who keeps talking about the way we should behave or ought to behave, as if there is a consensus, as if we have met, and said, this is the kind of Jamaican who makes us proud. Them achieve a certain level of education, etc., etc., etc. So they don't have that. So what we have instead is a term that some sociologists gave us a long time ago, cultural slumming. So you live up there, so, and the only time you go down there, so, is Sunday night when you go to the Raytown dance. And when you go into the Raytown dance, you tell yourself that people down there are going to rob you. So you take off your fancy necklace and your fancy watches, and it hasn't even occurred to you that people down there so laugh at how cheap your fancy watch and fancy thing is. So we have this imitation of the caricature of who we are, because we have not been talking to one another. And now the majority, or those who represent the majority, are up in our faces. And we say, oh, I saw Jamaicans steer. And so we all begin to have something beneath a standard that we can be proud of, that we can aspire to. Am I making sense about the pathology? About the dissonance, and I can't remember the word that Franz Fanon put in front of the dissonance. But there is a madness. Cognitive dissonance. You're a bright girl. Cognitive dissonance. Imagine that Amina Blackwood Meeks is in a play, or I write a story, or I write a poem about the wonders of prostitution, and I perform it well. And then you see me in my non-performative state, and I say, but I don't believe that. You would have think I'm mad, don't it? So I think there is a way in which what we are seeing in social media, by and large, represents that cognitive dissonance. So I don't want to talk about what social media can do. The reality is, what is it doing? What is it doing now to a people who have not been facilitated to reach a certain level of book education? And I emphasize book education, for our granny tell we say studyation is not education. Right now we're very studiated, but are we educated? Do we have an internal construct? Do we know what it is to be represented on the international stage? Can I give a quick anecdote? Many years ago, I got a fellowship to go study storytelling. And the fellowship took me to South Africa. And in South Africa, there was a man called Credo Mutwa. He's now with the ancestors, and he would have been the same age as Louis Bennett. You read everything Credo Mutwa ever write. Me listen to every poem he ever recorded before I knew he was still alive. So when I go into South Africa now and I hear him still alive, I decide I must and bound have to meet Credo Mutwa. And I arrived and I called, and a gatekeeper answered. I mean, he's the head of the Zulus. A gatekeeper answered and asked me what we want, and I tell them, well, Credo not see nobody. And we call again and again until I got Credo. The first day I got Credo, he told me about all the places he had been exploited, so he doesn't meet strangers and he doesn't give in to you. Just like 21 days, something I decided to follow. If it don't happen in 21 days, it is not going to happen. Like Alcoholics Anonymous. So every day at the same time, I called Credo Mutwa. Every day he would take my call and give me the same big bull, and no, he's not going to see me. And on the 21st day, when I was sure he was not going to see me, I gave him all his praise names, which I had learned, all his praise names, and then I said, I'm so sorry I won't have a chance to, oh, he used to call me Madam, etc. I'm so sorry I won't have a chance to meet you, and I've come all the way from Jamaica. I was no longer Madam. Credo Mutwa said, Honorable one, Jamaicans have done nothing to harm you. When can you come? Why me never say Jamaica first? I stop going through all of that. So there is an image we have on the global stage which does not accord with the caricature that we see of ourselves in social media. That needs to be protected. If we do not protect the reputation of a Louis Bennett, of a Bob Marley, of a Marcus Garvey, nobody out there will remember them. And we ourselves will not remember them, will not know them sufficiently to represent them respectfully and truthfully in our art as that which we ought to be aspiring for. Thank you very much.
All right, so thanks so much for coming. This was great. I feel like we just got my belly full right there. Wow, thank you so much. Wow, I'm still trying to process. There's so many amazing points you brought up.